So grade 7 girls, let us quickly revise what we have done in our last classes about aquatic ecosystem that include water environment. What are the three types of aquatic ecosystems? Freshwater, estuaries, and
Marine
there were
ecosystem.
three types of ecosystems. Now, in these three types, what are the major abiotic factors that are affecting the aquatic ecosystem? The temperature,
Water deep.
the depth of the water, how deep is the water, the amount of light entering there, oxygen,
Oxygen level.
water pH, salinity, that is amount of salt, and how fast or how slow the water is, the rate of flow. Then we spoke about fresh water have very less salt in it. Usually lakes and ponds, they have fresh water. And when we also spoke about what kind of plants are seen in the freshwater ecosystem, what kind of animals are seen in the deep sea, seen deep inside the lakes and ponds, and what are at the bottom and the middle and on the top. Do you remember that something? We told clams, bacteria, and worms, they are on the bottom of the lakes. Again, clams, bacteria, and worms are, they live on the bottom of the lakes. And when we talk about frog, turtles, and fishes, they are actually swimming in the lakes and ponds. Where are clams, bacteria? First thing, they are in fresh water. They all are in the bottom. Next. Algae, amoebas, okay, they are also the insects which are there inside. Some insects are there inside the fresh water. Frog, turtles, fish, and ducks, they all swim in the lakes. So those clams, bacteria, and worms are at the bottom. Frog, turtle, fish, ducks, they swim in the lake. Till here, did you understand?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, this was the picture. Fish, turtle, ducks, these all are swimming in the lake. Clams, bacteria, all are there at the bottom of the lake or pond, that is fresh water.
Good.
Coming to wetland. What is wetland? It is an area of the land that is saturated or soaked with water, girls. Soaked with water means it's not, it's like, I can say, what exactly word we can say, girls? The area, the filthy area, which is just having water. You can say damp, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
At least part of the year. Bog. Like when you go to grasses and you walk on that, you see that wetland, right?
Yes.
With water. At least part of the year. Bogs, marshes, and swamps are types of wetland. Wetlands have high species diversity. Plants in wetlands can live in the wet soil. Those grasses, those bushes, they live in the wet soil. We feel that it is actually plants existing there. The plant exists because of this wetland. And what kind of animals do you find in wetland? Like ducks, frogs, shrews, herons, and alligators. You know, they can live on both land and water. So land, do you imagine they are living on the rocks? No, they like to live on the wetlands. Those alligators, frogs, and ducks. They like to,
Miss,
yes.
worms get inside rocks. They get under the rocks.
What, my dear? Again?
Worms get like under the rocks.
Yes. Yes, they do. What is your question? They go, you are correct. Animals include ducks, frogs, shrews, herons, and again, these all they live in wetland. Wetlands collect and filter water. Can anyone read Three of the points.
Me.
Okay.
Wetland collects and filters water, removing some pollutants. They protect nearby land and shore from floods and erosion.
Hmm. Erosion. They protect nearby land and shore from floods and erosion. Girls, you have two kind of land in front of you. One is very dry with sand on it, and the other is wet with the soil on it. What do you think? Which one will fly in the air faster, the sandy or the wet?
Mm,
Which
Mm,
one will
sand.
go and fly in the air? Which one will have erosion?
The sand.
sandy.
Sand.
Towards the sand, because the as it is wet, it can let it be there. That's why we say they protect nearby land and shore from floods and erosion.
Okay.
Okay. What happened? Why it's not clearing? I don't know. Where are examples of freshwater ecosystem found? Girls, what do you think when you see these two pictures? Where do you find the fresh water?
Mm, pick this.
In the second picture, right?
Yeah.
Second picture, you can see water. The first picture is full of grass and
Yeah.
so that means these are damp places. This is wetland and this is fresh water. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Mm,
they are showing you the wetland is replaced with a development. Later on the wetland, they made houses there. They have shown you the development here. Rivers and streams are home to many organisms, including fish, aquatic insects, and mosses. As the water moves, it interacts with air and absorbs oxygen. Read it out, please.
mm,
The third point. Miral, can you read? Freshwater ecosystem in.
Freshwater ecosystem in streams can have areas of fast-moving and slow-moving water, with organisms adapt, adapted
Adapted.
to each area. Adapted to
Adapted
each
means
area.
adapted means they they what do you call it? They involve themselves in the same condition. They can live with that condition. When it is cold, they can live in cold. When it is hot, they can adapt their body. They can maintain homeostasis.
Miss,
Hmm?
the net is what not working. I'm gonna go fix it.
Okay. As the water moves, it interacts with air and absorbs oxygen. Freshwater ecosystems in streams can have areas of fast moving water. 1 minute, girls. Okay. So we have finished with wetland. We have finished with freshwater. Now I will explain you what is estuary. Okay. An estuary is a partially enclosed body of water formed where a river flows into an ocean. Girls, as before also I told you, it's a difference between the salt water and the fresh water. It's that point is called estuary. So it is an enclosed body of water where a river flows. It is a starting of the ocean where the rivers start to flow in the ocean. Because estuaries have mixture of fresh water and salt water, they support ecosystem that have a unique, they just have very unique animals and very unique what do you call as plants. sea grasses, mangrove trees, fish, oysters, mussels, water birds, all live in estuaries. Again, this is where you will be asked, girls, that which one? Oysters, where do they live? They live in estuaries. Mangrove trees, yes. Fish is all in common. Mussels, sea grasses, water birds, even this is something peculiar here. Water birds, they live in estuaries.
I'm back, miss.
Okay, okay, okay. I just told them estuaries, that is meaning estuary means mixture of fresh water and salt water. And we can find their sea grasses, mangrove trees, fish, oysters, mussels, and water birds all live in estuaries. Before I finish the lesson, I will show you a short video here. Come on, guys.
Wetlands are areas of land with shallow standing water for at least part of the year. Wetlands are especially important ecosystems. The plants that grow in wetlands filter water and remove harmful chemicals. In this way, wetlands help maintain freshwater resources. In addition, the shallow root systems of the numerous plant species that cover a wetland keep soil from eroding. And because wetlands absorb extra water from rivers during rainy seasons, they also help to prevent flooding. You've seen how animals and plants can be adapted to live in different types of freshwater ecosystems. Which of the following are adaptations to freshwater ecosystems? Click your answers.
Come on, girls. Try by your own and say me. In fresh water, what do you think? What they can adapt? Do they adapt the low oxygen level? Fish? Or do they adapt the streamlined body shape? I think plant in lakes pond live in area of deep water. Yes. Plants in no, they don't live in deep water. Deep water, what they live is bacteria and clams. They have deep roots. Do they have deep roots, girls? The plant in streams?
Um,
I think the first one is
Great. Lakes and ponds have lower levels of oxygen than rivers do. Good work. A streamlined body helps fish stay
Miss, I'm
in
back.
place in streams and rivers.
okay. This is not there, see? Because what lives inside the lake deep? I told you clams and bacteria. So this is wrong.
That's not it. Aquatic plants in lakes and ponds grow where light is most available, in shallow areas or near the surface. Try again.
Even this is wrong.
That's correct. Deep roots help plants to stay anchored to the bottom of the river
in
or
the bottom
stream.
they are saying, yes.
Organisms in
In
rivers
the
and
bottom, the
streams
plants are deep root because the flow of water will not make the plants. But again, girls, the plants which are like algae and all, they don't have deep roots.
Okay.
are adapted to estuaries are found where freshwater rivers and streams flow into the ocean. The mixing of these two types of water makes for an environment where water and salt levels can be constantly changing. Click each image to learn more about estuaries. Where a river meets the ocean, the water is saltier than it is upstream. Most freshwater organisms can't tolerate high salt levels, so these organisms typically stay out of estuaries. Plants and animals that live in estuaries must be able to tolerate its constantly changing salt content, or salinity. Some of these organisms can live only in estuaries, and not in freshwater or oceans. Many organisms leave the ocean to lay their eggs in estuaries. Estuaries, sometimes called the ocean's nurseries, are a safer place for fish fry and the young of other marine species to grow and develop before they return to the ocean. Many birds nest and raise their offspring in estuaries too. That's why pollution or development of estuaries can cause marine organisms to raise fewer young, leading to reduced populations of fish and other animals.
That's tomorrow I'll continue about all of it. Okay, thank you, girls. Any questions?
No.
No.